Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, whatever the case may be. It is 7:30 in the morning, New York time, approximately London lunch, on Wednesday, August 17th, 2016. Today is we're going to learn more about the FOMC. That's pretty much what rules the world, huh? Find out what they're going to do to save everybody else. What can they do? But you know what? This uncertainty creates opportunities for foreign exchange speculators to speculate and make money. So hey, let's be thankful. You know what? And this is probably the best summer of trading I can remember, maybe ever. So we got lots to be thankful for. Let's make some money. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Konnichiwa! My name is Wayne McDonell. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. My goal here is to help you become a successful Forex trader. And when you do, we're hoping just through loyalty, you will open a live trading account at TradersWay.com and we will become your prime broker for your successful Forex trading business. How nice is that? We do these sessions 7:30 in the morning because that's before New York opens and it's the London lunch break. So a good time to realign the satellites, don't you stink? Smell like a plan? Well, spank you very much. We do these sessions Monday through Thursday, Forex.Today, and every Friday at FX Street, where I'm also Forex Speaker of the Year. Number one, I encourage you to ask questions. I'm here to share. You are the boss. I am simply a humble currency trader willing to answer your questions. Beep. Oh, we did that. Beep. So lots going on. Let's take a look at the market. Hang on. S&P 500 futures flat? Wow, that's weird. Is that right? Euro stocks, negative 0.5%. Crude oil, flat. 10-year T-note, 1.58. That's pretty good because remember maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, three weeks ago, it was way down like 1.45. So 1.58, as stupid as it sounds, is actually pretty good, huh? Oh, are people having trouble uploading charts for their trade plans? All right. All right. Let me hit up tech support. Okay. Contacted who? Oh, yeah, TradersWay? No, that would be the wrong people. You need Forex.Today people. So anyways, okay, passed it on to tech support. So anyways, yeah, 1.58 sounds actually pretty good. As funny as it is, because, you know, again, I used to think that less than 2.0 was impossible. Euro USD relatively flat. DAX, is that right? Down 1 point, over like 1.2%. Wow. FTSE flat. So it's weird. DAX is down. FTSE's flat, right? Hang Seng down 0.5%. And the French down 0.75%. Aight. So the FOMC is what's going to take focus for us today. So expect pop and stops today as news comes out and then fades, and then the stock market opens and then fades, and then news comes out and then fades. London close and then fade, and then, we got to wait for this FOMC information. New Zealand unemployment rate 5.1%. It's not bad. Better than expected, right? But I don't know, not enough to change the world. UK jobless claims negative 8.6 versus plus 9 expected. I read somewhere that 45,000 finance jobs will be cut out of London. And then if there's 45 money guys getting kicked out of London, then there's like restaurants and shops and all kinds of businesses that support them, right? Tailors, pubs, auto repair shops for Ferraris, so on and so forth, right? So it'll probably affect 300,000 people. Maybe not 300,000 people lose their jobs, but at least 300,000 people earn less money, and maybe 100,000 people, 45 being from finance, and the other 45 just indirect relationships. Maybe they lose. So maybe it's an actual 100,000 people lose their jobs, and 200,000 people make less money. So. Yeah, maybe we need to start buying real estate in London. 2 years from now? 3 years from now? 2 years from now? Something like that. So put it on the to-do list. Buy beachfront property in Caracas and buy a nice flat in London a year later. Put it on the to-do list. We'll park that in the parking lot? Yeah. Well, 8%, and then, Miles, adjust for foreign exchange, right? So there was a time when the pound was worth 230. Now it's worth 130. Oh yeah, and prices are down 8%. At some point you almost don't even care, right? Because it's already down 50% for a foreigner. Right? And they're like, no, it's not down 50%, it's down 55%. You're like, you know what, I was still going to buy it. It doesn't matter, right? Yeah, but nobody cares about Europeans, Miles. Gee whiz, right? They're just problems, man. Europe's just problems. Anyways. All right, so what else going on here? Japanese Vice Financial Minister of International Affairs. He's the currency chief. In close communications with other G7 nations, will respond if there are excessive moves in the FX market. You know what I totally screwed up yesterday? Totally screwed up. You know what I did? I bought the USD yen. Like 103 or something. It was after our new scalp. Remember, our new scalp went up 70 pips and then drifted back, and then I bought it. Do you know why I screwed up? I had a limit on it. I was like kicking chairs and stuff today, this morning. I said, where's my friggin' trade? Oh my God, where's my trade? I'm like, it's not there. Where the hell is it? Looked in the history, like, oh crap! I got 60 pips. I got a 60 pip profit, son of a. And I'm all mad. I'm kicking things like, son of a. Yeah, because I want to hold it forever. Yeah, so I totally screwed up. Made 60 or 70 pips. Oh. What if it never comes back? Oh, dang it. Don't worry, though. I bought Aussie yen and lost 20 pips. 25, 20, something like that. So, son of a... So anyways, sort of a mixed bag. Made a crap load of pips yesterday, though, which is always good. What else going on? We did the UK jobs, right? UK weekly earnings, and I forget the numbers. Like in the United States, for like every 10th of an hour increase in hourly in hours worked is something like 200,000 jobs or something crazy. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. Well, Joseph, you just got to keep buying, right? But it's one of those things where, I didn't do what I intended to do. And at the end of the day, it's probably going to come back down anyways, but I intended to break even or hold it to the end of the year, right? So it's just, I made a mistake, and I don't like making mistakes. Making a mistake is worse than losing money. And then in this case, I got lucky, but or unlucky, I don't know, but it's just not what I intended to do. That's dangerous. Yeah, I have to, Miles. So, the big bajillion dollar question is if we're going to go all the way back down to 80 on USDN. And, at least that's what they're talking about on TV. It sounds really exciting, right? But you know what? That's not the question I'm asking. The question I asked started back in January. So I said that this time of year, I would be holding the line and, towing the line and buying with the intention of breaking even, right? But I threw down a trade and I forgot I had OCOs and I didn't want an OCO. But I don't care if it's going to go to 80 because if it goes to 80, I will have already changed my strategy. My strategy currently, based on my historical analysis and seasonality type stuff, says around now, second and third and fourth week of August, I will start buying at support and keeping my stops close, moving my stop to break even, and not trying to make money. No, Miles. Miles says this is supposed to be the best. No, I've never said that. Where did you get that? I've never said that. I said the month of August you don't even try to make money. That's what I said. So you're saying this is supposed to be the best week. No, you're talking yourself into these weird corners and stuff. Hang on.
Markets, the DAX is down 1%. The FTSE is down less than 0.25%. The Eurostoxx is down about 0.9%. We saw mixed trade throughout Asia with the Nikkei and the Australian stock index finishing slightly higher. The Shanghai and the Hang Seng were down on the session, but marginally.
That's it. This is a big update. So anyways, yeah, Miles, look, it's an opportunity to enter strategy. It's not like this huge windfall of pips, like floodgate open, like it's going to skyrocket. No.
The move lower we saw in U.S. markets yesterday and the somewhat hawkish Fed speak out of a couple of the FOMC members. This does lead into the FOMC minutes later this afternoon. And we'll hear from FOMC member about an hour ahead of those minutes. In terms of foreign exchange markets, the dollar yen holding at 170, up about 40 pips on the day after briefly testing below 99 yesterday before that Fed commentary. 112.71 in the euro. The high day 112.89. We saw the dollar yesterday in the session fall to its lowest level since June 24th and the Brexit vote. Cable trading 130.14, down about 30 pips or 0.25%. U.S. fixed income markets are trading relatively flat heading into the FOMC minutes. 131.29. We did see yields back up modestly yesterday in the U.S. 10-year holding around 1.576%, the upper end of the about a 2-month range for U.S. 10-year yields. 10-year spread at 82 basis points, little changed on the day. Over in Europe, fixed income markets are flat to slightly higher with the Bund future 166.83, up 13 ticks. The high was 166.99 and the low 166.65, so right in the middle of the daily range. It's also been a relatively quiet session today in terms of energy headlines. WTI crude consolidating the move up we've seen over the last couple of weeks at 46.55, now holding above the 50-day moving average in the WTI contract. And U.S. equity futures have got a bit of a bid here heading towards the U.S. cash open in 90 minutes time. We've moved back to the upper half of the electronic range, 48.08 in the NASDAQ 100 futures and 21.77 in the S&P minis, off a 21.73 low. And the high in today's session is 21.81.
I think you missed the Aussie jobs report, right? So that came out plus 10. I have a question here from Joseph. Do I ever trade futures versus spot? You know, I did a long time ago, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked trading oil and gold, gold futures, right? S&P 500. I loved trading the 10-year T-note, and then I filed my taxes, and the spot market and these commodity markets and the treasury markets and the stock indices market, and then and any individual stocks that I actually bought, they were all taxed differently. Okay, and just it was ridiculous. It was very, very, very expensive and time consuming. Like filing taxes in November type stuff, and my tax filing was like 3 inches thick, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And they're like, oh yeah, well, every different thing had its own tax treatment, so you basically had to file separate taxes for every single one. So I'm like, you know what? I love all these things, but I could trade them through correlation in the Forex market and get the best tax treatment there is. Because in Forex, the government treats your cash like inventory. Like if you're a shoes salesman, they're your shoes. And you sell shoes. Well, I sell money. So the tax treatment is very, very, very favorable. Right? So if you make money very often, it's just funds the next trade, right? So Forex, I found, was the best strategy for me to focus on, and I can get all these other moves and trade them through the foreign exchange market. Okay? So just out of efficiency. Okay. Okay. Let's do some technical analysis. You can see I got something going on here. Not the world's greatest trade, but, you know, don't judge me. Wondering if that's a change in direction. What do you think? Does this still have some downs? Probably, yeah. Looking at maybe some divergence, looking at maybe a rollover, looking at a roll reversal, looking at a lower high, that kind of stuff. Weekly R1 being the top, what is the target? BS1. You know, I'm being a cheeky monkey. It's just a scalp, so you know, I got mine right there. But you know what I mean? Whatever. Life is great, life is grand, life is good. So that's that. What about our friend Pound Dollar? Or, you know, I guess we could do it this way. We can go back. I had it. I don't know. Sometimes these things are distracting. It's down here now, isn't it? Funny. You'll probably find this distracting. So I might have gone ape crazy on this. What do you think? Too much? Am I trying too hard? Yeah, Miles, like I said, you know, not everything is good. And also you have to look at it for multiple time frames. So how about this one? Did I go too crazy? Huh? Lahoo, sir. I don't know. Maybe I got emotional, huh? Well, at least I'm making money, right, Miles? But, you know, kicking off of a pivot that may be acting as support, but let's go back. Let's go back to Pig Dog. Because, you know, last year, what would happen is you'd wake up in the morning and it's 1:45. And what do? You sell the euro, right? Now, you wake up in the morning and it's 1:45. What do? You sell the pound, right? But it's never that easy, or sometimes it is actually. So you got to do your mark. You got to do your marks. Just mark it up. Let's go out to the fiber, right? Maybe even farther. Okay. So does this look like it's rolling over? So I drew this stuff, I think it was yesterday. You see the bottom and the top. So a break below and then a retracement back up would be an opportunity to sell. Okay. Let's zoom back in. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Right? So maybe down and then up and then down and then up, right? One of the key things here is actually spotting the change of direction. Let me get my drawing tool out because it's just easier, eh? Life is great. Life is grand. By the way, I hope you appreciate starting the day with me, and we always celebrate what's good about it. It's a great mantra to start out and say how life is great, life is grand, life is good, life is beautiful. You're going to get what you, right? You're going to get what you give, so give it all you got. I like that. Or I guess end the day, right, Mr. T? Okay, so what I'm suggesting here, higher highs, higher lows, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Consolidation could reverse. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What are the uh-ohs? Boy, that sounded like, what do you call those stupid alien things? Teletubbies. Uh-oh. Oh. All right. Okay. This is a problem, huh? Teletubbies pattern, yeah. Well, the first hint was this was really too low for this time frame, but on a higher time, but it's a 15-minute chart. On a higher time frame, though, what someone is trading is this low, this high, and then you could refib it, right? Fib off of here. What used to be resistance and support. But on the smaller time frame, it's like, yeah, it's not good. So this low is lower than this low, and then this high is lower than this high, right? It's almost like a head and shoulders. And then down into a bottom, lower high again. Down and, right? Up, lower high again. It's not the best in the world, but this area here that I'm looking at, which I've already marked, this is the key area. And by key, I mean it either goes up or it goes down from here. Completely binary. So if you're a bull, you need to, on the New York Open, be doing stuff like this, working your way north. If you're a bear, then you're going to probably get something like this, right? By the way, Polish unemployment as expected. So don't expect a big move out of the zloty. Is anybody trading the zloty this morning? It came out 0.2 versus 0.1 on the month over month, but as expected year over year. Zloty? Oh my God. I got like billions of zloty. I got zloty all over the place. I have to yell at my kids, clean up your zloty. You got it zloty all over the place. Come on. When I was your age, we had half as much zloty. Yeah, no, I'm not a big zloty guy. But, there's always room, right? There's always potential. So there we go, right? So you got to kind of figure out what you want to do. Now, yesterday, I drew this orange line, and maybe on the hourly, for this, right? So when you put it on a higher time frame, like this is only an hourly chart. Yesterday, I drew this red line. Let me highlight the highlight. Okay, all right? You see how I grab these bottoms? And we go in here. And the funny thing is, that's our high. So like I said, the hardest thing in Forex, or I should say the most difficult thing in Forex, is trading without a bias. Why would you make it so difficult? So if you have a bias, then it's significantly easier because then you're looking at this as resistance, right? Like, why wouldn't you? Right? Like just, and then of course I take this all the way back, weeks and months. It's clearly resistance. So it'd be pretty easy to sell this, so I don't know, around the London Open, which is here. If you're a bear, that'd be a fairly easy thing, right? Because you wake up in the morning and you want to sell the pound. Not complicated. The more complicated it is, it'd be more like, do you sell the pound dollar? Do you sell the pound yen? Do you sell the pound Swissy? Or what I call the pissy? Okay? You understand? Oh, by the way, this guy speaking is one of the guys that you should listen to. I don't say that very often. Mohammed El-Arian. Okay. All right. So if you have a bias, just ask Google Mohammed El-Arian. It'll do it. Okay. So if you're a bear, that's pretty easy, right? Identify resistance, prepare to sell. Okay. I was speaking to someone the other day, and they're like, the oscillator, the oscillator, the oscillator. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? The oscillator's no. So shh. Don't speak. Just listen. What's important is, first of all, you're a bear and you're near resistance. Okay? 30.50 is obviously what's going on here. You can squeeze it up into here, but you're still in a sell zone. 30.50 to 30.80 would be a sell zone. Fine. Okay? But what's important is they open up the market and price is not going higher. And when this happens, that's the relevant information, not being overbought. Because when it's overbought, it's just telling you it's not making lower lows. Well, that's not relevant to you as a bear, is it? Okay? So the relevant information is, when is the market turning bearish? Because as a bear, you want to sell after it's rallied, right? And here, my friend, is where it becomes interesting. How do you get your stochastics to roll over? At first, candles have to stop making higher highs. And then to get it to roll over and come back into this trade zone, it has to start making lower lows relative to the previous candles. Do you see how that is the relevant information? That you're at resistance when you're a bear, when it's rallied, start of the London session, and the Stokes rolled over. That's where you'd be short. How cool is that? Okay, you guys are asking about Mohammed El-Arian. All right, he used to be one of the senior executives of what do you call Bill Gross's old company? PIMCO. Thank you. And Billy Gross, B Gross, Bill Gross, and Mohammed, Billy and Mo, Bill Mo. They managed, I think it was 3 or 4. Listen to this, $1 trillion. And you know how all the talking heads on TV are a bunch of idiots and they're just rehashing everyone else's analysis? Well, they're rehashing his analysis. He will say something, and all of a sudden, everybody is saying it all around the world. So he's the smart one, and everyone just steals from him to sound smart. So, like, besides managing 3 or 4 trillion US dollars, what else has he done? Miles. I can see for miles. No, dude, you simplify things too much, Miles. This is the biggest week for pips. No. We're just changing our strategy, bro. Right? That's it. It's not. There's nothing big like this. You can't say, oh, he's a bond guy, right? Are you joking? So he managed $3 or $4 trillion, but he's stupid, like he's just a bond guy? How do you trade bonds? Bonds are money. Macroeconomics, global, you have to know what you're doing. Yeah, no. But you're simplifying things. Right? You can't say he's a bond trader, that's all he is, and managing, $4 trillion US dollars. You have to reverse that and say, he must have taken a lot of data, analyzed it, and made decisions. Because some of his decisions may last 10, 20, 30 years. And he's not buying Apple because everyone else is buying Apple because Apple's cool and Apple this and Apple that. Apple sucks. He has to make real decisions based on global macroeconomics and things like the value of money and interest rates and inflation and a lot of very interesting things. And it's much more math oriented than buying the company because your kid likes an iPhone. I mean, whatever. Okay? Yeah. Mohammed Al-Arian. Thank you, Dan. Okay. Well, Miles says it's not a Forex fund, it's a bonds fund. No. It's people pay them to manage their money based on global macroeconomics, central banking policy, inflation, and interest rates. Sure, they trade bonds, but, it's like saying we're only Forex traders. Well, that doesn't make any sense because Forex changes valuations because of things like bonds rate, bond yields, inflation expectations, monetary policy, change in monetary policy, and then the differentials between this economy versus that economy, so on and so forth, right? So, we're just as much bond traders, right, as we are currency traders, but then now you have to know everything about gold and everything about oil, and all of a sudden we're tracking things like sovereign funds and treasuries, and we're watching copper and the Chinese, onshore Chinese yuan rates, and I mean, all of a sudden, we're much more than just currency traders, right? We're everything traders, and I think he's much more. Let's say I give bond traders a lot more credit than I would an equity trader. A long short equity guy just is a stock picker. Miles says, so we should listen to Bill Gross. Whoa. When did I say that, Miles? Miles, you're so funny. When did I say you should listen to Bill Gross? When did I say that? I just said you should listen to Mohammed Al-Arian. When the hell did I say you should listen to Bill Gross? Where do you get these things, Miles? Holy smokes, bro. You're doing this. I say this and you're like, boom, boom, well, all this stuff over here. No. Yeah, but I didn't tell you to listen to Bill Gross, did I? So just calm down, dude. So anyways, so if you're a bull, this is easy. If you're a bear, this is easy. Okay? If you're a bull and you want to buy this, you have permission to do that. You honestly do. Okay? Because of this. Okay? Those are my two lines. Right? If you're a bull, identify two levels of support in which you might want to buy. That's what I would do if I were a bull. Okay? If you're a bear, you identify two levels of resistance in which you may want to sell. That one's pretty good. I drew it yesterday. Do you take the monthly just because it's a monthly? Well, I guess for now, that's all I got is that one line. If this doesn't fall, I mean, look how easy. Again, guys, we did this yesterday, right? It's ridiculously easy, right? Now, you might talk yourself out of it because you say, well, Wayne, we're vulnerable here for the bulls, right? Oh, yeah. Doesn't mean you don't take it. The question you should ask is, if you sold at resistance, will you have the opportunity to move your stop or break even? And then if the answer is yes, then it's worth the shot. But you can see now why a bull would buy, right? And that's why I have this marked. Right? You see it now? Okay. You're picking fights here, Miles, but I'll say it. I believe Bill Gross sells his own book, which means he tries to influence your decisions so that it benefits him. Mohammed Al-Arian, I think, just does the research and shares it, and he shares it in an eloquent fashion based on logic and intelligence. Bill Gross is more like a sleazy insurance salesman that says to you, well, if you don't buy this insurance, how will you feel if someone breaks in your house and kills your children, or your house burns down and your dog dies and you didn't buy insurance, or whatever? You know what I mean? So I think there's a difference. Beep. Okay, on the oil. How's our oil doing? Oh, look, resistance. Now this is very interesting because doesn't it look a lot like our pig dog? We're in here, right? Da, 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 da. Then you go to WTI and see how it kind of did this, and we're kind of like in here right now, aren't we, on the pound dollar, right? Now, the plan was sell it at 50 to go to 40 and then buy it at 40 and go back to 50. But just want to make sure we're all on that page. Higher high relative to that high, higher low, roll reversal, we even have it marked. Higher high, breakthrough resistance, back to resistance, now access support. Higher high, right? Consolidation, pullback on a higher time frame, so that's a 4-hour daily pullback. Higher high, higher low, into the moving averages. Higher high, higher low, into the moving average. Higher high, higher low, into the moving average. Higher high, higher low, into the moving average. And as we get closer to 50, it's going to be less and less likely to break. Boop, 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 ba-doo, boop, ba-doo, boop, 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 ba-doo, boop, ba-doo. So what would you do with oil going up? Come on, now touch me, baby. Can't you see that I am not afraid? What was that promise that you made? Okay. What I wanted to show you is that. Beep. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here. Now you got to drag this across. You always got to do your work, right? But if oil, you can see, oil going up, move this pair down. And if you think it's going to continue, wouldn't that be a sell zone? Okay. And what's your plan B? So that's just simply sell off the 21. It's a dynamic level of resistance. Okay. The next level, because remember, I want you to identify a couple of levels, right? This would be the sell zone as well, right? If you think oil is going to go up to 50 or even higher. This is also potential, right? Because what you're going to do is you're going to fib here to here, and you're going to identify this as low being lower than that. So you would sell here if you're bearish and aggressive, or you'd sell here if you're bearish and conservative. Understood? Oh, well, it depends on what type of plan you're going to have. So if you were scalping, Dan, you would have a different stop than as if you were swinging. Would you agree? The second part of it is, if you sold this and your plan was to sell it off the 21 and it went above the 21, do you still need to be in it? See, you could be one of these guys that said, well, my plan was to sell it here. Oh, but this could hold. And then, oh, but this could hold. And then all of a sudden you've lost 300 pips, right? What was your trade plan, Danny boy? If your trade plan was to sell it off the 21, right? And it does this, why are you still in it? So you say like, oh, this might hold and then that might hold. That's hope as a strategy. And that doesn't work. What was your trade plan? Okay? Sell it to 21. So if that fails, what would that look like? We'd be up here, right? Well, then get out. And if this does hold, you're going to see a reversal, right? That's when you sell. You'd wait till the 55. That was my plan. Well, so that would be much more of a swing trade. Okay. So you might be doing a 150, 300 OCO, right? Where Danny Boy might just be doing a 2550 OCO. Okay. So they're different trade plans. Joseph was talking about oil. He says crude oil seems to be on the hopes of a quota, blah, 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 blah. That's what they say on TV. That's not true. It's going up because it was at 40. That's it. There's nothing more complicated than that. The news people say, oh, but the people are talking, the OPEC meeting, oh, Iran said that. No, it's not true. That's silly. First of all, Saudi Arabia has never pumped this much oil before. Did you know that? In July, Saudi Arabia pumped more oil than in the history of Saudi Arabia producing oil. Does that sound like they're cutting back? Iran still won't sit at a real negotiation table with OPEC. Venezuela is dying for money. Dying. Russia not far behind. Because it was at 40 bucks, Joseph. People bought it at 40 because it was 40. It'll go up to 50 and then they'll sell it because it's 50. And then the news people will say, oh, well, it's because Iran wouldn't sit at the negotiation table and Saudi Arabia said something, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, all right. So what I said 6 months ago, that we would rally from 25 to 50, then from 50 to 40, then 40 to 50, and just be in a 40 to 50 range for quite some time. Is that true? Yeah. Shug says yes. Oscar says yes. It's just, the fundamentals haven't changed, and they're not likely to change. We're not going to see a dramatic, increase in demand, are we? What's Japan going to do with a yen this strong? I mean, is their economy going to explode and dramatically increase their demand for energy? China is still devaluing their currency. What are we at today? 6.6, 6.65, 6.66? Amazing. So, yeah, I don't know. South African retail sales, negative 2%. South Africa? What are you guys doing? Hey, man, I spent some money there. How come it didn't go up? Yeah. Yeah, I got an ostrich egg with Nelson Mandela's face on it. Spent big money. Classy, yeah, it's great. Don't judge. I'm just saying, you got to make some money so you can spend some money, right? Come on. Don't do it for yourself. Make lots of money and spend lots of money for South Africa. Huh? Do it for the country. So anyways, dynamic level of resistance, role reversal resistance, play it one way or the other, right? That's all I'm trying to say. And I was going to say, let's go back to this. All right. Okay, let's look at this. You thought that this 21 could possibly be dynamic level of resistance at which you could sell, right? Right. Around the London Open, do you think maybe? Okay. Right? So at what point do you get involved? If you thought, so let me draw it now. This would have been about that 4 hour 21. At what point do you get involved? Because you're sitting here going, green, green, green. You're like, it's going to turn red. 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 Hanging man. Right? Double top, if you want to do it that way. Very often I do it like this. I don't like slopey stuff. I'm a very simple guy. Right? Okay, but again, if you're watching this and you were waiting for it to drop, at what point do you acknowledge it, right? That's what a bear would think. 1 minute 21, that doesn't mean anything. No. See, you guys, you have to separate strategy from tactics. Okay? Okay. What's the strategy on the 4 hour? No, down is not a strategy. What's your trade plan? Sell at rally. Not specific enough, guys. Thank you, Miles. Sell the 21. Okay, great. So you identify where the 21 is, and then you drop into the 5-minute. Do we care about strategy now? No, we already have a strategy. Why do we need to complicate it any more than that? So what are the tactics? Look for bearishness on the 5-minute chart somewhere near the 4-hour 21. Yeah, 5A cross would be fine. How about this 5A cross as well? Even better, right? But yeah, any one of these. Sure. Okay. And this is where I tell you, I don't really care how you get to the conclusion. You could use all kinds of things. Wave counts, moving average crossovers. You could fib it. You could, what else could I throw in here? You could sell it here. You can sell there. You could mark it as, divergence with the double top, or a fib it, or you can slope it. At some point it doesn't even matter anymore, Like, for example, I don't think it's a coincidence this is a 618 Fibonacci retracement. I don't. I think people are sitting here waiting for it to drop, and then they sold the 618 to create a lower high. Honestly, I believe that's what happened. People saw the 4-hour 21. Some people sold it immediately. They're done. That was their tactical entry. Sell the 21 and they're done. To me, that's a bit of a gamble, right? But I'd like to see that someone took the gamble. Even if they're stupid, I'd like them to take the first step. Right? And why do I like to wait for a reversal pattern and not just throw down a trade? Well, if you're gambling and you say, I bet you the 21 holds, because that's what a gamble is, right? Let's say they shorted here. Beautiful entry. Perfect. And then let's say I short more like in here. Okay? So their entry is, and my entry is, okay? So I'm short at 29.05. They're short at 29.15. The difference is 10 pips. Which one is less risky? First one or second one? Yeah. Took a little patience, right? But at some point you realize it's not going to make a higher high. And it's relevant information only if you know where the 4-hour 21 is. So I talked about this I can't scalp without a 4-hour chart. The most important thing here on this 5-minute chart is that it's resistance. So Miles says, well, but with the stop and blah, 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 blah. Well, look, here's how it works, Miles. First of all, my stop's at break even now if I took that trade. And now there's only two things that are going to happen. It's going to come back to the roll reversal, drop like a ton of bricks, and I make at least 100 pips. Maybe 200 pips. Maybe 300 pips. Okay? Or it comes back, knocks me out, break even, and nothing happened. And what does the 21 suggest, Miles? Yeah, lower low. Okay. If it fails, and let's say in this case we break even on this short off the 21, it's going to do this, and then it's going to come all the way up to the 55, and then it's going to fall again. Another dynamic level of resistance. But in this case, what does the 55 suggest? Double bottom. Okay? If it doesn't do this, then it's going to do the second one. Okay. Also, if I were me, I would watch oil. Okay? If I were me, I'd watch oil. If we hit 50 and then it turns red, then this is going to turn green. That's that. Ugh. Hey, I got my final grade for summer school. It was three pages or 3 papers. It was a writing class. My first paper I got 98 out of 100. The second paper I got 100 out of 100. And that paper was submitted to receive an award, which ain't bad. And then lastly, just got my final paper, which was worth 40% of the grade, and I got 100% on that. Which is cool because the class before, last semester, I got 100% on the final. So I'm killing it. But the thing is, these are classes that they're trying to flunk you out, actually. And by the way, if you get a C, they kick you out. Isn't that funny? If you get a C, they kick you out. There are no C's at Harvard, but I'm looking at my classes coming up in the fall semester, and it's so unbelievably difficult. I don't know what I'm going to do. They keep upping it. I don't know. Like every class I take, I'm like, oh my God. Last semester, I had to read something like 3,000 pages and write 9 papers over the course of 14 weeks. 9 papers. Yeah, Zeal, they already don't like me because I walk in and I take over. I'm loud and obnoxious. All right. Lionel, I'm trying to be the best. So I was trying to explain to my children, actually, it was pretty funny and quite a coincidence, but that I'm not even trying to get an A in the class. So like this last class was a writing class. I'm like, why do you take a writing class? To learn how to be a better writer. So what is my goal then? To do well in the class? Well, what does that mean? To do better than the other, students? Well, why do I care about them? I can't control what they write. They could write rubbish. They could write fabulous stuff. I don't care. It's like golf. I don't influence them. I play my game. So then what? To get an A? Well, what does that prove? That may be good. I mean, it's good, but again, it's meaningless. So I'm like, I want to write the best I possibly could write. And I don't want to even just write better than the other students. I don't want to just get an A. And if you got 100%, so I got 98 in the whole class, but if you got 100%, then all it says is maybe the class wasn't difficult enough, right? So I'm talking with my children, having this conversation. I'm like, I would like to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to write the best I possibly can. And when I submitted my final paper, I was very, very upset. And I think I shared it with you guys. Very upset. Beautifully written piece of crap. Completely flawed analysis. But the problem is you go through and you learn. As you're learning, then you realize, well, your original thesis might be incorrect. But you're too far down the rabbit hole because the classes are too fast and there's too much work. You just can't go back, right? So I submitted a beautifully written piece of crap, and I knew it. But I got to go South Africa, and I got to do the NFP, and I got to do this other stuff, and I got to go. I don't have time. Right? So anyways, it was funny. So I got 100 anyways. But maybe because I take it that serious. But I take everything that serious. So anyways, it worked out. So it was just nice to get that over with and find out that I did all right. So life is great, life is grand. So we got time. What pair do you want to do now? You want to do Aussie Dog? Let's do Aussie Dog. I know nobody asked for Aussie, but I'm going to do Aussie. Wait, unless I got trades on it. Hang on. Don't look. Don't look. Yeah. No, I don't want to do it anymore. I changed my mind. Let's do Yens. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Beast. Okay. Well, you tell me. What might be happening here? What should we do here? We're elevated, but we're not in the sell zone. Do we have resistance? We have weekly and monthly pivots, and we have a roll reversal. And what direction is the trend? Okay, now this bounce is much more significant, right? So like a couple of weeks ago, pound yen came down, back to the 21, down, back to the 21, down, back to the 21, down, breach the 21. So something's happening here, right? As long as you acknowledge that. Boy, it sure makes trading look easier when you do your analysis, doesn't it? But isn't it important to see, like, dude, really? Sell it at 39, take profit at 34, sell it at 34.50, take profit at 32, sell it at 33, take profit at 31, sell it at 31 or 32, get out at 129, sell it again at 131. You're like, wait, each time it's moving 2, 3, 400 pips. And all it is sell at the 21, right? So why do we complicate it so much, right, guys? But notice, let's do up, 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 down, down, buy. Up, 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 down, down, buy. Up, up, down, 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 right? Now what do you do? up, up, roll reversal, sell, right? Down, 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 up, up, sell, down, 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 up, sell, down, 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 up, sell, down, 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 up. It bounced on the weekly support. It bounced on a big number, 129. And we have two levels of resistance, which are sellable and a pivot cluster. So, you know, one would think somewhere between 131 and 132, this would head south. And you might be vulnerable down here unless we get a continuation, right? And then it'll just reset. And the reason we're hesitating or people are taking profit. Why? Because of that. But I already have this marked from yesterday or maybe even Monday that, right, that we could do one of these things. So sell at 32, let's say, target 28. And what happens at 28, I think, is going to be very significant. Okay? What do you think, guys? That's 400 pips to the downside. If you're selling at a monthly, weekly pivot cluster in a downtrend in a roll reversal zone off of a big psych level. Does it have potential? Okay. Selling from the 55, it would suggest the bottom, but we already know the bottom is there. So you got a decision when you're down there, because if this breaks, however, and the fundamentals are still down, you know, I mean, but then now you have to play like USD yen. But, you know, if USD yen is on its way to 95 or 90 or 80, then, you know, this pound yen could drop at least another 1,000 pips, maybe 2,000 pips. Okay, good question. What did I mean by the monthly weekly cluster? Okay. Monthly M2, weekly central pivot. So I call that area the cluster. Weekly, monthly cluster. Okay. Monthly M2, what does that predict? It was resistance. Actually, we should probably go back and get the next one. July, August. Okay. At the beginning of the month, we were right here. Okay. Based on the monthly central pivot, what is the projected low for the month of August? Remember, we're half done, right? Projected low based on that open is 121. Yeah, so another 1,000 pips in the next 2 weeks, guys. That's not my prediction. That's just monthly pivot points. But you should have that part of your analysis. Man, this chair is so good. Glad I bought it. Oh my God. Ugh. Awesome chair though. Isn't that neat? That'd be a good, right? That another 1,000 pips is decent, right? Yeah. Let's do a Kiwi tomorrow if that's all right. But I can tell you, Kiwi is on, I would call it daily resistance, right? And I can't see a MACD, but I can see it with my mind's eye. And I see a MACD below the waterline and falling. This is my guess if I were to draw it on the daily. So flip a coin feels a little more bearish than bullish. But let's regroup it. Let's regroup tomorrow, right? Remember FOMC meeting minutes? Another opportunity to download some information and think, right? Well, it's not an event, it's an opportunity. Okay, FX Ambassador? It's not an event. I'm not saying scalp it. I'm saying download it. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, appreciate that, Andrew. That's a fantastic thing to be doing. Yeah. So, hey, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Don't forget oil inventories. So watch your kitty cat today. Okay, watch the inventories. Watch the oil prices. Watch the kitty cat. Aight? Aight, Chihuahua. So, see you again tomorrow. Miss you already. Cheers.